Magic the Gathering is a game that features a vast and continuous multiverse of stories set across countless planes and that incorporates numerous themes. One of those themes is horror. With the beginning of October, so begins our countdown to Halloween. 30 days, 30 decks, 30 different creatures of the night, all culminating with a special 31st episode on Halloween Day itself. For those of you with a profound fascination of the macabre, I invite you to join me on this venture through 30 days of night. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm MTG Budget Brew, and welcome to day number 14 of our 30 days of night. The creature type that we're building around today, they're just a bunch of little fun guys. They're chill. They'll feed on your decomposing body or possibly even take control of it, but they're just fun guys. So as you probably figured out already, we are running a fungus deck today. And the card that I decided to build around was Slimefoot the Stowaway. It's a black and a green for a 2/3 fungus that says, whenever a Saproling you control dies, Slimefoot deals 1 damage to each opponent and you gain 1 life. And then you can pay 4 mana to create a 1/1 green Saproling creature token. The other fungus cards that we're running in this deck are Deathbonnet Sprout, Tukatongue Thallid, Blightreaper Thallid, and Sporecrown Thallid. Out of those 4 creatures, 3 of them also have Saproling synergy. Tukatongue, when it dies, creates a 1/1 Saproling. Blightreaper Thallid can transform, and when it does, you make a Saproling, and also when it dies, you make a Saproling. And then Sporecrown is a lord that works for both fungus creatures and Saprolings. And because so much of our deck has Saproling synergy, I added a few more cards that can make those tokens. So we're running a full playset of Saproling Migration. It's 1 and a green for a sorcery that says create 2 1/1 green Saproling creature tokens. If this spell was kicked, create 4 of those tokens instead, and the kicker cost is 4 colorless mana. And then we're running 2 copies of Spore Swarm, 3 and a green for an instant that says create 3 1/1 green Saproling creature tokens. Because our game plan is to essentially go wide with Saproling tokens and start chipping away at our opponents and slowly drain our opponent with Slimefoot's ability, I decided to add 2 copies of Parallel Lives as 2 of our rares. Parallel Lives is 3 and a green for an enchantment that says, if an effect would create 1 or more tokens under your control, it creates twice that many of those tokens instead, so it is a token doubler. And then our other 2 rares are going to Tendershoot Dryad. It is 4 and a green for a 2/2 Dryad with Ascend that says, at the beginning of each upkeep, create a 1/1 green Saproling creature token. Saprolings you control get +2/+2 as long as you have the city's blessing. And to get the city's blessing, you just have to control 10 or more permanents, and then you get that blessing for the rest of the game. So our Parallel Lives can help us with going wide with our tokens, and then afterwards, Tendershoot Dryad can buff them all up. And turning a board of 1/1s into a board of 3/3s is a really massive difference. And then finally, we have a little bit of removal in the deck with 3 copies of Cutdown and 3 copies of Infernal Grasp. For our mana base, we're running 6 swamps, 14 forests, and 4 copies of Riveteers Overlook. Now, before we hop over to my untapped account, I do want to mention that I've technically not tested out this version of the deck. I made a slight tweak. I was actually running 2 copies of Yavimaya Sap Herd before I swapped it for the 2 copies of Spore Swarm. So it was a minor change, nothing super huge, but I'm pretty confident that it will be a positive change to the deck, because I would much rather have 3 1/1 green Saprolings than a 2/2 fungus and then a single 1/1 Saproling. So I'm sure it'll be fine. All right, now we can take a look at the stats for the deck. I am currently 7-4 with a 64% win rate. The deck has been doing pretty well so far, and it feels pretty solid. I've been enjoying the deck. I really like running creature heavy decks, and token decks are just creature decks but with even more creatures than normal. But anyway, I think it's time that we go hop into some matches. All right, here we are going into game number 3. For game number 1, we lost to an Azorius Flyers deck because we made it to like turn 5 or 6, maybe 7, and all I had was 2 forests. Got stuck on 2 lands, so needless to say, I did not win that match. And then game number 2, I took too long to mulligan because I was explaining what happened in game 1, and our opponent scooped. We got a free win. This opening hand, it looks okay. This is a lot of land. I know I was just complaining about getting stuck on 2 lands, but if we top deck any more, that'd be less than ideal. Luckily we don't. Luckily we top deck a Tendershoot Dryad. So here we're just going to play out a Saproling Migration. We're going to create 2 1/1 green Saprolings, and then next turn we'll be able to drop a Sporecrown Thallid to buff these up, make them 2/2s. We'll be able to swing in for 4 damage. All our opponent did was explore and ramp a little bit. Yep, so here comes down the Sporecrown Thallid. Saprolings are now 2/2s. Net for 4 set our opponent down to 16. Our opponent just played Realm Breaker, the Invasion Tree. This is a 3-mana legendary artifact that says, pay 2, tap this, target opponent mills 3 cards, put a land card from the graveyard onto the battlefield tapped under your control. It gains if this land would leave the battlefield, exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. You can pay 10, tap sack this, search your library for any number of Praetor cards, put them onto the battlefield, then shuffle. That was a lot. Our opponent did miss a land drop, I think. No, who went first? I think our opponent just missed a land drop. So that's very important to note. We're just gonna cast Spore Swarm here and swing in for 6. We set our opponent down to 10. Actually, I messed up. I forgot that this is an instant. I should have held that for their end step in case they board wipe here. They don't have double white mana, so I'm less concerned about a board wipe now. This might just be game over, unless they can like bounce all of the tokens that we have to our hand. They destroy our Sporecrown Thallid with Bloodchief's Thirst. They're gonna make us mill 3. They'll get to take one of our lands. And the second Sporecrown Thallid is just lethal. Okay, well, that was a very clean, quick win. I'll take it. Works for me. All right, guys, here we are in another match. And I've been struggling. Let's see, am I gonna keep this? I'm gonna mulligan this hand. I've been struggling to get a decent match. This is like game number 6 that I'm playing. I just had an opponent who loaded into the game and immediately DC'd. Anyway, we took the mulligan, went down to 6. Our new hand looks pretty solid, and our opponent just played Exploration. They may play an additional land on each of their turns. We're gonna start with a turn 1 Deathbonnet Sprout and pass. Next turn, we're more than likely just gonna drop our second Sprout and then hold up mana for cut down. Our opponent's up to 4 mana now, which is terrifying. That's a Sheoldred the Apocalypse, which is horrifying. And if we don't find removal for that, we are just going to lose the game. A turn 2 Sheoldred is absolutely insane. And the only removal we have for that is Infernal Grasp, which is a 6% chance to draw. It's not very high. So actually, I'm gonna drop a Riveteers Overlook here. We'll go grab another forest. Now we'll play out this Deathbonnet Sprout and say no attacks. Okay, our opponent just played another Exploration and a Waste Knot, which means he's gonna make us discard things. He swings with Sheoldred, we say no blocks. But the good thing about this is that he's down to 1 card in hand. So I don't think he's got a lot going on. Right now, I'm not sure what the play is. We could go Slimefoot, but I think I want to play out the Blightreaper Thallid. I might as well attack. I'll connect for 2, set our opponent to 18, because I think I want to transform this next turn. It becomes a 3/3. We get an additional body, and at that point, we'll have enough blockers to be able to block Sheoldred without dying. Oh god, I don't even know what just happened. Our opponent just played Juggle of the Performance. It's 1 a black and a red for a sorcery. Each player discards their hand and then conjures a duplicate of each of 7 random cards from the library of the player to their right into their hand. The duplicates permanently gain mana of any type, can be spent to cast a spell. So we just swapped decks, basically. I just got a hand of what he has in his deck. He was able to play a bunch of additional lands because of his explorations, and then because we discarded a bunch of cards, he got some triggers off of Waste Knot. He stole our Tendershoot Dryad, annoying. To play the Blood Crypt, let it enter tapped, I guess. I don't know, all of this is annoying and sucks. I don't even know what I want to play. Play out a Jet Medallion, I guess. I can play out my own Exploration, but I don't even have another land to get benefit from that, so that sucks. His deck's cool, but I don't like that he's using it against me. He got 2 of our Tendershoot Dryads. That's crazy. All right, we lost that game. All this waiting for that? Lucky me. All right, here we are in another game, and hopefully this one is a good one. I've been recording for almost 40 minutes now. I only have 2 games that are worth showing, and they still weren't that impressive of a game. I had better games while deck testing. If they're mono white life gain, I'm gonna lose my mind. They might be a cycling deck, which is actually extremely cool. They just played a Flourishing Fox, which is a 1 mana 1/1 fox that says whenever you cycle another card, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature, and it has cycling for 1. That is very, very cool. I think we're just going to play a Saproling Migration here because we have double Sporecrown Thallid for our next 2 turns. And I will offer the trade with our Deathbonnet Sprout because he's not going to take it. And if he does, we're okay with that. He doesn't block, he takes 1, he goes to 19. Our opponent plays a second Fox, and they cycle a Frostveil Ambush. That's concerning. Second Fox, that's scary. We draw into another land, which I did not want to see. We already have 5 lands. We're good. Don't need any more. All right, I'm just going to drop our Thallid, and I will swing in with our 2/2s. I didn't think he would block, and he doesn't. He took 6, went down to 13. He plays out a Drannith Stinger, which says whenever you cycle, we take 1 damage. He cycles once, we take 1 from the Stinger. His Foxes become 3/3s. Oh my god, that's crazy. We just found another Sporecrown Thallid. Dude, this card is carrying this match. This is absolutely disgusting. Our whole board is 4/4s now. I thought his Foxes were going to be a problem. They can't keep up with us. Yeah, and our opponent scoops. We got the victory, but that was a lot like the first game that I'm going to show you, which was just some tokens into a bunch of Sporecrown Thallids. I would like to show off some of the other cards in this deck, but These matches are just not working with us. All right, here we are in another game, and we are going up against a worthy opponent. So hopefully this will be a good game. We're going first. Our opening hand is good. We don't have to mulligan down. Our opponent has super cool sleeves. Should be a good match. We're going to start with a swamp, so that way we can hold up a turn 1 cut down. Play a mountain and a monastery swift spear, which is a perfect cut down target for us. We will go ahead and destroy that. We'll go into our turn, and I'm going to play out a Blightreaper Thallid, I think. Start there, possibly transform this next turn. The transform cost is 3 and then a Phyrexian green mana. So we can pay 3 mana into life to transform it, which might be the move. You just played Inti. It is a 2 mana 2/2 that says whenever you attack, you may discard a card. When you do, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature. It gains trample until end of turn. Whenever you discard 1 or more cards, exile top card of your library. You may play that card until your next end step. I think I am going to go ahead and transform our Thallid, because now our Thallid won't die to his Inti. Not that I think he was going to block with it anyway. But they'll take 3, go down to 17, and we still have a blocker for their Inti if I need it. Ooh. They play a Godric Cloaked Reveler. It's 3 mana 3/3 with haste that says, as long as 2 or more non-land permanents enter the battlefield under your control this turn, Godric is a dragon with base power and toughness 4/4 flying, and has pay a red. Dragons you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. They're swinging 5 at us. I will say no blocks. We'll go down to 13. We hit our 4th land drop. That's massive for us. I'm going to cast Saproling Migration, make 2 1/1s. And then we're going to drop a Sporecrown Thallid, make all of our Saprolings 2/2. Oh, and also make our Thallid a 4/4. We'll swing in for 6. We set our opponent down to 11 and pass the turn. Next turn, if we top deck a land, we'll play out Tendershoot Dryad. If we don't, then we'll just drop Slimefoot, and this will start giving us access to a little bit of life gain. And against this mono red aggro deck, that'll be really good. They play out a Phoenix Chick and a Charming Scoundrel. That activates their Godric, so it's now a 4/4 dragon with flying. They swing 6 in the air. Inti triggers. They discard another Inti to put a +1/+1 counter on their Phoenix Chick. We take 7 in the air. We go down to 6. Let me think. If I play out Tendershoot Dryad, +2/+2 to our Saprolings, that's these. These become 4/4. So he blocks here. We swing 4, 8, 9, 10. I think we set him to 1. If I just play out Slimefoot and swing 3 in the air, if he's able to activate Godric again, then we just die. I think I'm just going to play out the Tendershoot Dryad. So that set him to 1, right? And we take 3 in the air. Either way, we kind of just die to Godric. If they're able to turn Godric into a 4/4 dragon again, then we kind of just lose. So we'll see if he has it. He's going to block with his Inti. That's good. That prevents him from putting another counter on a creature. And he buff the Phoenix Chick or give Godric flying. That is the question. It is a close game. It's 3-6. He plays a Feldon. He swings out. He kills one of our tokens. Let's see. Feldon says, whenever it's dealt damage, exile that many cards from the top of your library. Choose one of them. 5. So if I just block Godric, we take 5. We go down to 1. And that's game. That was sketchy. That was real close. Real sketchy. Our opponent, they were definitely worthy. That was a good match. And I got to show off the Tendershoot Dryad. So that was nice. All right, guys. Well, here we are on my Untapped account again. As you can see, overall with this deck, I am 13-6 across 4 versions. The most recent version going 6-2. I just played 8 games where I had a 75% win rate, but the games just were not that interesting to watch, which is unfortunate. So today's video is going to be a shorter one. However, I do have a note about the deck list. I would change the amount of swamps and forests that I'm running. I don't know why I had the ratio so low for swamps, but I would definitely increase this by 2. So I would go up to 8 swamps. And then I would decrease forests by 2, go down to 12. Yeah, so if you want to try out the deck, make that change, and the deck should be fine. For the games where I actually got to play the deck and have like a real match, it was good. I liked it. I would run it again. But unfortunately, all the good matches I had were during my initial testing. But that's just how it goes when I'm recording sometimes. So for those of you who are still more curious about the deck, I will leave a copy of the deck list down in the description for you, so you can test it out for yourself and find out a little bit more how the deck plays. With that said, if you liked the video, you should like the video. If you liked me, the video, and you like Magic the Gathering, you should consider subscribing to the channel because that will get you more of all 3. And I hope to see you guys tomorrow.